So it's a rainy day, of course, and I'm feeling kind of groggy, a little tired, but because I'm not feeling weighed down by heavy foods and stuff that I've ate, I'm not feeling um like terribly tired. Like I feel like the unhealthy, toxic type of tired. That's what I mean. Since I ate a sub today with like some tomatoes and stuff, and I ate a lot of the tomatoes just to kind of help me with my fruit and vegetable intake. Um, but I am still feeling the type of way 'cause I'm tired of hearing about, I'm tired of hearing about slavery, of course, which it never existed and all that, and just, whatever, whatever. But I'm tired of hearing about that. I'm tired of hearing about racism, which it never existed. Tired of seeing movies and things about slavery and portraying slavery and stuff like that, where white people are steady calling black people niggers and and more. But it's one main thing that I'm personally, beyond tired of myself is just because I have not personally and directly experienced a lot of um racism. Honestly, if much at all, thank God. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say I guess, but thank God. But of course, I've experienced the haterism, or just the wickedness from so-called skin folk. So, people with the same skin color of me, same similar skin pigmentation and stuff like that. And so I woke up with that on my mind. I had a dream about some men. They were in jail, and I know jail could be a form of slavery or it's bondage and things like that. So I don't know, but I woke up. I had that dream, and then I woke up and I looked at some movies that was available on Prime, Amazon Prime, and they were Black History Month themed, and a lot of them were regarding slavery, rooted in slavery and stuff like that. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, here we go. And I just was telling myself the whole time, I do not want to see none of this at all. Like, I'm not in the mood for it. And because there's been times when I'm like, okay, I can sit and stomach it, and I can be somewhat in the mood for being informed. But today I was watching even like an informed documentary type thing. Well, it was something called Seeds of Blackness or Seeds of Africans or something like that. Anyway, and I was going in and out of paying attention to it. So like I was literally like zoning out of that. But then I tuned into this like little mini series called The Long Song, and that was definitely interesting. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody who haven't seen it, who might want to see it, but um kind of have to. Like, I just can relate to both main women characters in the movie, the white lady and the black lady. It was just crazy, the strength of the main black female character, and then like when she was younger, I just say this: she started. I'm sure she started out on top because she was with her mom. Let me see. Hold on. I don't know who. Oh, she's. Oh yeah, I think a slave. She kept saying that she was a mulatto, and she wasn't a Negro. But her skin color did not look nothing like being mixed with anything. But they did show where a white like slave owner or one of them, who they refer to as master, came in there and had sex with her mom and stuff like that, raped her and stuff like that, and she, there she goes, she had a baby, and her name was July. Uh, excuse me. Her name was July, and she ended up getting taken around 7 or 8 years old or whatever by just a white woman and a white man passing by, and they were making a mockery, saying that her mom's legs looked like some tree trunks. I'm like, Lord. I mean, that's just comical because it sounds funny, but it's like, I mean, and he literally went up, pulled up her dress, and just started touching on her legs. Feel them, they're like tree trunks and all that. I'm like, what? And so it was hard for me to kind of take that in and like, and just to think about that stuff like that really occurred, if not exactly that. But and I don't know if this is based on a true story or not. I know it was supposed to be, the setting and stuff was supposed to be in 1839 AD. So um that was over, it's coming up on what, 200 and something years soon. Not too soon, but soon enough. um so it's like, wow. And then it was in the Caribbean, so that put a different spin on it. I don't know why I was watching that. Sometimes I do feel like I'm more of an island type of girl or tropical type girl, but I love and embrace the snow. And I don't know, I guess because I was born in January, but I do be feeling like, oh, the islands, baby. But yeah, it was in the Caribbean or Caribbean, however, depending on who you are, however you pronounce it. So that put a twist on it. I seen all the melanated people, dark skinned melanated people, and it's beautiful, beautiful skin. The actors was just beautiful skin tones. Of course, I gotta go back to, I came from the womb of a female who is, dark skin, brown skin, and stuff like that, and I'm lighter pigmentation, but not so much, but lighter than her. And my deceased grandma, she was lighter than her, but she had her with, a dark skinned man, which my so-called mom and my previously called granddad, they have the similar, if not the same, skin tones. So just look at that or whatever. It just be all over the place, and it makes you think like, well, where did I really come from, and what kind of? It ain't even a matter of are you a mutt. It's like what kind of mutt exactly are you? Which what do you more so relate to, or but I don't know. It was just crazy. Um, Let me see. So basically, her mom got raped by the white man and had her. Her skin color still wasn't lighter. She was still a house, what they called a house slave, or I was gonna say house nigga, but house slave. And it might just be because the white lady picked her up along the way and stuff like that. Just saw a pretty little young girl that she wanted to pick up. And so she took her. Of course, she stayed there. She grew up over there. And of course, the white lady changed her name to Marguerite. I'm like, my God, what kind of witchcraft? Hold on. Anyway, the white lady changed her name to Marguerite, and she remembered her real name or whatever, so she still went by that amongst the field slaves and stuff like that. Oh man, that was just a lot to like pick through and like um dissect. Um, but yeah, so there was this free black man. He was a lighter skin tone, so I don't know if he was probably supposed to be portrayed as mixed or something like that, but he was free. She ended up, having an attraction to him. July, when she got older, had an attraction to him. Something was supposed to be happening where the white folks were supposed to be leaving. I think they were saying, I guess in other areas, black folks was, in other countries and stuff, black folks was rising up against white people. So they decided to leave from the island, the Caribbean, and but I guess they didn't leave. You got to watch it more than once. But anyway, I guess they didn't leave, and they ended up oh, I guess my son is crying again because he didn't spill stuff in his laptop, and I'm not buying another one. I hate to hear my kids crying. That's why I had to pause for a minute. I hate to hear him crying, but it is what it is. I guess he closed the door so he can go ahead and get his crying out. Hey, to God be all the glory. In the middle of me talking about this, it's like It really upsets me. And every time I still hold their dad accountable. And I feel like, hey, if I'm holding him accountable, he can hold whomever accountable. If he knows to, or if he has the knowledge, he can at least speak that. We can't necessarily hold people accountable. I can't go jack him up like I want to or punch him in the, like I literally do feel like I want to punch him in his face because my son is in there crying because he broke his stuff, and it's because of the lack of home training or even having the voice of the male present in the household. So, with that said, you know, I'm trying to talk about this, but my son in there crying, and it's bothersome. He shed tears today. I shed. They don't even know I shed tears today because watching a long song when July, I was about to call her Marguerite myself. July got taken from her mom. Of course, it reminds me, of not just myself, but any females or any families that got their kids just snatched away from them during slavery times or whatever. But again, it goes back to me. I got mine snatched away by the people that's the same skin color as mine, and their dad, the boys' so-called dad, told me I own you, and he was the one who made the call, who got my daughter up out of here. So it's like, so anyway, I don't know. I don't know how it all plays into each other together and stuff like that, but it's wild. And so anyway, yeah, so July got taken from her mom. Of course, her mom was devastated and all that. They was just going to the market or something like that, and the white people just came upon them and just decided, hey, I like what I see. I'm gonna just take it. And I was like, what? Somebody's whole child. And of course, that's how I feel regarding my daughter's dad and his mom and stuff like that. Of course, they wanted, honey, if they could have had me the way they wanted me to, they would have tried to keep me. But, what's next best thing, or what I'm saying, similar best thing. I don't want to say next best thing, but similar best thing is my daughter. And again, he told me he trapped me. Then I get to thinking, hey, well, I'd rather her be taken by them than, because I just gotta get content, feel like I gotta be content with it because it's been almost over a year that she's been gone. Rather it be them than some white folks, because I definitely couldn't imagine, what I'm saying? I don't want to imagine that, but I feel like I couldn't imagine that. But it's like, why does it have to be any of y'all? Why can't y'all just leave me alone? Why can't y'all leave us alone? So I still be having mixed feelings and emotions regarding seeing any type of slavery movies, because I be like, well, I'm getting treated similar to that by people that have the same skin color as me. So it's no way I can get away from, or it's no way that I can really go into racism and stuff like that, or even some of the effects of slavery that it's had on people of color. But then on one aspect I can see, or one hand I can see, okay, I see their skin color and they look similar to my so-called mom, previously called granddad, and I can see some of the pain and fear and stuff in their face, and strength and all of that. But then I'd be like, but they out here doing some of the same thing that I guess the slave masters did to them. So it's like a cycle repeating. And so to the younger generations. Anyway, man, I can't stand when my kids be crying. Like, that's literally trying to distract me. And I'm telling you, every tear that falls from his face, and I just pray that his dad feels it some type of way, whether it be like the slaves was getting lashed, get some lashings. That's how I feel. And it kind of, of course, it's already a groggy day, so it's got me in my emotions. And usually rain is very relaxing, and I'm kind of relaxed, but not so much, not as much as I probably should be because of this stuff. And I'm the woman of the house, so I got to make decisions that my sons don't like. Also, of course, they're males, so I try to respect them. I try not to be the asshole and all types of other stuff, be the first so-called bitch, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm left with no choice because I can't keep buying a device and y'all keep on putting drinks and stuff by it, and then you think I'm going to keep on just buying. No, I'm not going to buy another one. I'm not. I just refuse. And it's things that I want or feel like I need. I'm not even finna buy for myself. I have to get them. I feel like I'm called to get a new phone, even though nobody calls me. And I don't necessarily really have to, but my phone number is connected to so much of my business related stuff. So I'm trying to keep the phone number. And, oh, Lord, I just pray be with us throughout this day, because I know he's upset. And it ain't nothing I can do. Then I think about my daughter, she seen my message back when I said, hey, I feel almost helpless. I say almost. I can't even, God won't even allow me to say fully helpless, but I feel almost helpless when it comes to fighting for her to be back home, or, you know what I'm saying, to interact with us and stuff like that. And I definitely broke out in tears when I seen that part when she got her daughter, when July got taken from her mom, Kitty. Because that's how I felt. Like my child got snatched away from me. So I've experienced that. I could definitely deeply relate to that. I feel like it's unfortunate, but then my boys are here, and it's like, then in the movie, I think they mentioned, black women are some of the worst mothers and stuff like that. And it's like, who made us mothers? Whether it was a white man or a black man, you know what I'm saying? But it was a man. So it doesn't reflect on them at all. The devil be bound. So that's why I'll just be holding them accountable. And that's not to say that men are the worst or they can't do it, but I still feel like it's so much sexism in this world, or it's more of a sexist world than it is a racist world and all that. But I could be wrong. But I can literally, as his mom, as he's crying them tears, I can almost feel his pain. Haikara, istakara, indashiko na haikura handasi. Oh my goodness. It's just so bothersome, man. Gikashikara handasi andasi araroshi andasi arasi korai korandasi. I want to pray for him a breakthrough, but I just want him to continue to mature. That's what I can submit to God. God continue to help him to mature. He have to push through that disappointment. I don't like that disappointment for him. Then my other son is in there. Of course, he's using my Chromebook. He probably might start feeling like that's unfair, but I can't worry about that right now because he's younger. He's the older one, and my other one is the younger one, and it just is what it is. And so again, that pressure, that strain or whatever of putting that on my son, my older son, oh, you the man of the household, or you the man of the house. For one, when his dad was around, he was not even trying to be the man of the house. He was trying to have one foot in and one foot out. So how can you dare put that on your son who comes? And I went on and bind and rebuked that right then and there when he said 2 or 3 years ago, because my son didn't need to receive that. You are a child and a young man in this house, even now. And even, if he was to be here forever, I'm your mom. It's not that you can't help me and take care of me. Of course, I want you to grow up mature and be able to have strength to be a team player. But you are not, and you will never be the man of my house, of this house. He could be the man of his own house and be paying the bills and stuff. And if I ever had to go stay, then that's that. But he did something to me again that was diabolical. He spoke something diabolical regarding our son, and I don't appreciate it. And so it all trickles down to my son don't got the proper training. He's not hearing his dad's voice. And when he was hearing his dad's voice, it was just yelling at him, go to sleep, boy, or stop crying, boy, or, it was boy over and over. And he started to say that he was going to, even one time he started to I call him boy, and it's not in a derogatory way, and I want to get away from it if I can, but I used to really call him boy when they was younger, and because they're boys, but he would call him boy, and it was almost like a slave type of thing, like how white men would call black men boys, and I'm like, and he said, yeah, I remember his dad saying, yeah, I'm gonna call him boy. Then he tried to give him another nickname, didn't stick. It's like, no, you're gonna have to call him by their name. You're gonna have to respect them. I'm making a video. Okay. And go in there. Can't you go in there? Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's him in there. That's him. I have to go and send him in there. Feelings is tore up, but I pray God mend his feelings. But anyway, he was calling him that, and trying to make certain nicknames stick. And I was just like, no, you're gonna have to respect him. You have to call him by his name. Then he didn't want. We both agreed on middle names and first name and stuff like that. But he didn't even want to start when I started calling them by their middle name. He didn't want to call them his middle name. He didn't want to call the boys their middle name. Oh, well, what they gonna put on their check? What they gonna call them? I mean, it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was just trying to be in opposition to me. And, that's not my problem. That's his problem. And I think I almost made it my problem because I hated that for him, and I hated that he was like that. And I was like, what in the, why the fuck are you like this? Why are you like this, dude? But I tried not to question it at the same time. 'Cause I'm like, I'm not finna read too deep into that because that's some deep stuff. I'm not. So anyway, back to the movie. I felt like the white woman and I felt like the black woman. Ways that I can relate to the white lady, Caroline. She waited on that white man to love her. Like he married her legally, but he told the black woman, "You're my true wife." He was loving her. He fell in love with her and everything. Well, at least that's what it seemed. He had a baby with her and everything. He wouldn't even sleep with his wife, and he slept with July first, and he started calling July by her name instead of Marguerite. He started trying to get the white woman to respect July and call her by name, and wanted to invite her to eat with him and stuff like that. And but the whole time, um Caroline was just waiting. She heard them making love. She heard, she seen them have a baby by July, and she just dealt with that. And I seen her like express her frustration and screaming out one time. She got frustrated, of course, with July. But she continued to wait because that man had this, and I don't know, this is just how I took it. That man had the same skin color as her, so she just didn't give up hope. She was just feeling like, something's gonna happen where he gonna turn towards me, and it did. And when the other black people, when they, of course, they were freed, they weren't slaves no more, and they wanted their respect. And they were like, we don't have to serve y'all anymore. We don't have to work for you. But when I think his name was Robert, he was trying to get them to work 7 days a week and demanding and all that and trying to raise their rent and just pressure them to work, basically do more slave work. And they just was like, no. He got frustrated with July because she got the same skin color as them. And that's when he started calling her a nigger, and that's when he, probably regretted that he had a child with her and everything. But he just lost his mind temporarily, and then Caroline started to nurse him back to health, but she used the resources that July was bringing, food, and she used the baby, Emily, to nurse him back to health, which July had the baby. Caroline didn't have the baby. And oh my God, and Caroline had that sneering face and sneering look about her that looks like one of them Karens, and that arrogance and that air about herself and stuff like that. It just creeps me out. It was creepy. And so yeah, so it was just crazy how Caroline used that to nurse him back to health. And once he got nursed back to health, he was loving her. He was that's who his sights were set on at that point in time. That was just crazy how that transitioned. But before then, he wasn't thinking about Caroline. Like he done told July, he was like, let her feed herself. And he was, and to me, that just came off as a chauvinistic type of thing, a male, you know what I'm saying? He just had his pick of which woman he wanted to choose whenever and however he felt like it or believed or whatever. And it was just crazy. So, again, that's how I took it. And, but related to Caroline by, waiting and wanting a man to love you and respect you and all of that. I mean, she endured, even though she had did some foul stuff previously, and just the whole time, like her whole demeanor was just, she just wasn't right. But he eventually loved her and cared for her and stuff, and then they stole Emily, the baby, and went off to another country and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's just crazy. And they even tricked one of the other slaves. Well, she was free, but one of the other like servants into stealing the baby because July trusted her. Her name was Molly. July trusted her, and she ended up waiting on July to go to sleep, and then they took the baby. And and my son's still there crying. Who knows? He might be doing that all day. And oh well, I'm more than likely not giving him no other type of device because it is what it is. This is the reality. I do have enough money to get him another one, but I'm not about to do that. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm even trying to discipline myself just because one of them tear up. I'm not gonna do that. It's just he's 10 years old. It's time for him to shift. He'll be in his preteens. Basically, this is preteens, but yeah, he'll be in his like real preteen soon, and you just gotta grow up. And I just don't. Me personally, I'm not. My feelings be bothered and my emotions be tampered with, but I'm not convicted on that. I need to go just out and purchase more devices. I'm actually pretty much the opposite. When they started crying and doing all this, my daughter was doing this when she was going through and dealing with stuff and started yelling out, "I hate you." Not to me, but "I hate you," and this, that, and the third, and all that in her room. I hated for them to deal with stuff like that. But I'd rather for them to learn discipline now and experience that now than have to go through a rude awakening later on. So, Lord, see us through this day. And, God, the location of his so-called dad. Again, I try to be careful with that because, like I said, the dad, he contributed, but you know what? He ain't sent nothing in about 2 or 3 weeks now, and I feel like it's because, it's court dates and stuff like that coming up, and, whatever, I don't know. But, God knows his location, and all I can say is my son over here crying tears, and it's some women or some females that do not know to hold that man accountable when these kids get to dealing with stuff. Hold them accountable in the good times as well, but God told me I can't give the glory to nobody. That good stuff that they experience, I can't give the glory to nobody. I can't give the credit to nobody. So I have to, you know. And so even with this, I'm not again blaming all the bad stuff on your dad, but I'm holding accountable spiritually, and I'm trusting God that it manifests naturally. And that's including myself regarding our kids. And so, God knows the location, you know. And I be feeling like I don't give a damn how many tears and what kind of tears he done had to shed and have to shed regarding, what I'm saying, regarding anything, regarding life. You got living children out here, and you pretty much, your absence is acting like you don't have living children. So, and that's what his moms tried to start and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, the kids are still alive. They're not gone, because she kept talking about funerals and death and life support and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but we got living people out here. And she swore to God that I was harassing her by saying that. So if that's harassment, then baby, even though the judge dismissed it, you would have had to say I was guilty because, yeah, my kids are alive. And even now, I'm just saying to God, my kids are alive. So whatever his so-called mom tried to start, and even his so-called living dad, maybe trying to disregard my kids and stuff like that. His so-called grandkids, his so-called grandkids, because they're so-called supposed to be in papa. Hold them accountable. Their dad, their granddad, and even other relatives connected to that be trying to hide that want my kids disregarded. God knows your location. The blood applied here. And regarding my daughter, Lord, just be in the midst. Pray that she learn to welcome you into whatever environment she's in, but be in the midst. That blue car that just rolled by, that was them so-called neighbors. And so, yeah, be in the midst, God. Because I have to make some painful decisions. I can't even get myself together like I want to. before, like, I'm in here trying to do a video talking about that, and he in there crying. And I don't be expecting. I be expecting, oh, he gonna find him something he can do, and he'll be alright. He's not crying right this moment, but I don't know what kind of day he may have. But I do pray to God bring him into better spirits. Bring him into a better spirit. I do not want to say spirits for whatever reason, but a better spirit. The Holy Spirit. Like, I don't want nothing else, you know, influencing him, should I say? Because nah. But I just pray for help. And then, you know, just the mere fact that my so-called supposed to have been uncle wished him happy birthday and stuff. I'm like, y'all not, I just don't want y'all trying to initiate my kids into nothing that is not for them. That witchcraft, that sorcery, that Masonic stuff, or whatever, the rituals that they may practice or whatever, or partake in. I don't want my kids in that. I ain't gonna sit here in front. I like people that can dress well, look cleaned up, you know what I'm saying? Stay clean. But I want you to be able to do it in a wholesome way. Not because you stepping on heads, or, you know what I'm saying, you disregarding younger generation, or disregarding somebody else in the family and the bloodline. So that enables for you to be able to, quote unquote, get fresh to death and stuff. I want my kids looking, their appearance to be nice, but I want it done properly, so, and in orderly fashion. So I just say, Lord, hold them accountable. I want my sons to learn how to, you know, take care of and care for themselves the way that God intended for them to, for all of us to. So that's it. But anyway, so how I can relate to the black woman is, her strength, she was strong, but then she seemed to be up one moment and down the next, and up and down, and, you know, all throughout the whole thing. Because, okay, so it went, she was, of course, let's just say a down moment could have been where, well, not even could have, but she was conceived by basically a rape by a white man. Up moment is, she was with her mom. Down moment is she got taken from her mom. Up moment was she was basically a house,